Hey, Game Freak, how's it going? Whoa, what are you? Oh no, not you again! We respectfully wish to extend a formal apology on behalf of the Pokemon Company, including Game Freak and all other relevant subsidiaries, for our previously released 2019 publications, and we condone any and all alleged actions that may have been interpreted by some as offensive in some way by our beloved customer base. Feels kinda disingenuous. How am I ever supposed to trust you again? Here at Game Freak, we deeply care about and respect the feedback and interests from our many loyal investors.
Don't you mean fans?
And it is in this state of self-reflection that we offer our investors
fans
this token for our understanding of your valid concerns about the recent quality level of our products, and promise our ongoing changes towards a better future will be in lieu of our newly mended relationships, finances.
Oh. Hey, I'm not just gonna forget what you did. I know what you're really like. You can't just fix all that with a. This actually looks pretty good. Still kind of stinks though. At first glance, Pokemon Legends Arceus feels like the next step in the Pokemon formula we've needed for well over a decade. Is this really the same despicable company we all know and tolerate? Yep, that's definitely Game Freak. Forget everything you know about this game. Not everything! In terms of gameplay, okay? So remember the wild area? Well, make it way bigger and add 5 different biome-themed maps to explore, and you've basically got Legends Arceus. But it's still awkwardly paced with lengthy, non-voice-acted story segments like before. Dude, nobody's buying Pokemon for that stuff. Then why is it still here? One thing at a time. The gameplay itself is where all the innovations are anyway, so let's start there. We're about to talk innovations in Pokemon. Brace yourself, this is still real life. This is the first real home console version of Pokemon, and as such, it's dropping many of the series' inherited Game Boy era limitations and instead is taking inspiration from other modern Switch classics. He means Breath of the Wild. Yeah, and they weren't even being subtle about it. The games even have identical intros. However, like a lot of the many mimicking lookalikes out there, it completely misses the core design philosophy that makes Breath of the Wild so great to begin with. Oh, come on now, we can't start ripping on them for their first genuine creative thought since the GBA. You gotta reward this kind of behavior. You want me to go easy on a multi-billion-dollar company, the largest media franchise in the world, all because they turned out something better than their usual annual soulless chat for a change by copying someone else's homework? Nah. I'm gonna tell it like it is. Luckily, what it is pretty great. The biggest implementations come in the form of adding real-time action and modern RPG standards to the series for a change. See, the back of the box even says, Action meets RPG. What's next? Is first person gonna meet shooting? Yeah. In large open environments, you'll sneak up on, avoid, or engage wild Pokemon that will either try to flee or attack you on sight. And if you sustain too much damage from their attacks in a short amount of time, you'll black out and drop some of your items at that spot for other players to find and return to you later as a penalty. Let's take this in for a second. Pokemon actually engage you in real-time combat and use their real attacks in an effort to defeat you, where you'll need to dodge and escape their pursuit or send in your own captured Pokemon to do battle with them right there on the spot. Speaking of battles, Pokemon finally adapted a turn order system, allowing you to plan ahead and even manipulate your speed priority by altering any move as a faster but weaker agile style attack or a hard-hitting slow strong style attack at the cost of 1 extra extra PP per move. Speaking of moves, they also got a huge overhaul. Aside from the tremendous amount of balancing fixes for the new speed mechanic, any new learned moves are added to that Pokemon's move pool, which players can then access and select their preferred 4 moves from at any time. Even status effects got a huge update as well. Sleep is now drowsy, allowing you the chance to attack through it like paralysis, and Frozen is now Frostbite, leaving incremental damage over time like a burn. And Confusion just sucks, so it's gone! Weather effects are also back, but because of the Sinnoh theme being what it is, we also got Fog, the worst effect in history, returning. But no defog to remove it since HMs are gone. On top of that, its accuracy hindering effects were cranked way up! Why so many quality of life changes just to spit in our faces like that, Game Freak? HMs are gone, yes, but rideable Pokemon once again take their place. As you progress, you'll unlock preset Pokemon to call upon and use to traverse the large environments more easily. Granted, they all kind of become redundant once you get Braviary, and you can basically Rivali's Gale infinitely and with no cooldown and even dash while flying. However, this feature does showcase one of the game's many flaws. Terrible pop-in. You could be casually riding on Weirdeer, basically the bike, and hear a shiny Pokemon appear behind you. No kidding, this actually happened to me. But hey, shiny Pokemon are in the game and are actually visible in the overworld. And since you'll be zooming by dozens of them every few seconds, you'll rake in loads of them if you so much as almost try. Remember why shiny Pokemon are special in the first place? Because Game Freak sure freaking doesn't! Moving on, a huge new feature is the ability to aim and throw Pokeballs to catch wild Pokemon outright, or send out your own to admire, gather craftables, or engage wild Pokemon in battles. Right, since this is copying Breath of the Wild's homework, we've got unnecessary crafting. However, it's not too intrusive, crafting potions from herbs and Pokeballs from apricorns, but without all the cool unique apricorn balls from Johto. Instead though, we get feather and heavy balls, which fly far or drop fast on unsuspecting Pokemon respectively. There's also great and Ultra Ball variants for each one once you gather enough goods and level up your rank. Your rank is what replaces the gym badge system, allowing higher level Pokemon to obey your commands. You level this up by simply capturing Pokemon and filling out their information in your growing Pokedex. Don't you just love all these segues? Filling out the Pokedex is actually your primary objective this time. Okay, well, sort of. We'll get there in the story. Oh boy, are we ever. But anyway, the Pokedex has all sorts of challenges to help you gather points and research Pokemon to the max level 10, like use a specific move or defeat them with super effective attacks a number of times. Maxing every Pokemon isn't necessary to trigger the final encounter. Instead, the Shiny Charm awaits those who do, making Shinies even easier to find in a game completely devoid of post-game content other than repeatable battles and dex grinding to watch some arbitrary numbers go up. Hey, I did it just because the gameplay was fun enough and it gave me a goal to reach for. Considering how the game itself sure didn't. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the game's new gimmick boss fights, the Noble Pokemon, that you'll battle using the ball throwing mechanic in a sudden third-person shooting segment, hurling bags of mashed up food at them to calm them down. Cause nothing calms me down more than someone clocking me over the head with a potato. Couldn't we just get the cool ball throwing mechanic without any intrusive gimmicks for once? We did, however, get various Pokemon sizes making a return, with the new oversized Alpha Pokemon kinda acting as wild traditional boss encounters, and that's pretty cool. It adds some extra randomness and variety to the otherwise samey areas. Defeating or capturing Alphas nets you bonus XP candy, which is reluctantly back from Sword and Shield, though not quite as broken, thankfully, and the new grit items that you can spend on basically increasing your Pokemon's base stats on a new spin on the EV system, where rare gravel, pebbles, and rocks can eventually max each stat by 10 levels each. No compromising or strategizing anymore. Hope you didn't miss that. It's far simpler than the old system, albeit painstakingly boring to use and max all your Pokemon one grit stone at a time in the menu. Evolutionary items are now available at a shop, and are now so plentiful enough in the wild if you know where you're looking. You probably won't even need the shop. There's even items for trade-only evolutions like the Link Cable, used like a stone on the correct Pokemon to make the life a little bit simpler for people like me who just don't have any friends. Even traditional level up evolutions are done from the menu, so you can evolve whenever you're ready. No more mashing B each time or holding an Everstone to make sure you can evolve when you want to. Speaking of which, held items and abilities are both gone, making the game much simpler to digest for beginners. And honestly, I don't miss them. Though they'll probably come back in future games anyway. Some Pokemon-defining abilities like Charms and Regigigas still happen, so don't fret. However, Zoroark's unfortunately does not, considering how that would have been too amazing. Yeah, basically. Anyway, I've heard a lot of players praising the difficulty for this game, and for that I've gotta ask, were you playing with your feet or something? This was one of the easiest, most unbalanced RPGs I've ever played in my life. You can literally just sneak up on anything and capture it. Or forget stealth altogether. The best strategy for catching almost any Pokemon is just to run straight up to them and clock them right in the face with a Pokeball. This no-effort open RPG just levels you up and rewards you in all the wrong ways and for all the wrong reasons, way faster than the game can even keep up with. Yeah, I didn't realize how over-leveled I was until the occasional trainer battle happened, which, by the way, there's not nearly enough of in this game. My Pokemon were always double or sometimes even triple the opponent's unevolved single Pokemon's level. What's up with that? The worst case was with the final boss that was hyped up online as the most powerful trainer in the series. And I absolutely slaughtered them on my first try with a random team of shinies I found along the way. It was pitiful. Honestly though, there's so many cool quality of life changes like this that help make the gameplay refreshing and exciting again for the first time in years. However, it's still got a long way to go before Pokemon will be anywhere near the AAA level that it deserves to be. Yeah, this was fun and all, but now it just makes me really want to play a Pokemon game that's finally caught up with the rest of the industry. And I mean that in the most endearing way possible. Say goodbye to N64 trees and say hello to GameCube trees. Hey, I like the GameCube! I kid, but this is a large step forward from last time with much nicer textures, effects, and animations actually remade this time and not just ported and upscaled from the 3DS. Okay, well, a lot of them are at least. This game's art style is obviously ripping off Breath of the Wild, and although it doesn't look quite as nice, especially the ugly sky and water, it's still pleasant enough to look at. And at least it's not this game. Even the menus and UI got ripped from Breath of the Wild, but unfortunately not the button mapping. What would you assume the menu button would be? Start? Nope. Select? Nope. Oh right, the last game was stupid. It was like X or Y? Nope and nope. If you guessed up on the D-pad, congratulations, you're just as sick in the head as the Pokemon designers. Oh right, we got new Pokemon in this game. Oh yeah, here's how I feel about all of them. Is this fire rock dog supposed to be fluffy? Looks like a discount Muppet oozing soft serve ice cream. This is supposed to be a Chinese food dog, right? But why is it gray? How could they possibly mess up Arcanine? Screwing up this hard takes real talent, you've gotta admit. So if regular Voltorbs don't exist until we have regular Pokeballs, then why do wooden ones already exist before Apricorn balls are made in the first place? What came first, the Pokeball or the Voltorb? I love that it gets a unique attack where it blasts a green laser beam out of its anus so hard it nearly kills him. I'm conflicted here. Without the fire, he looks like a purple finger puppet on heroin. But with it, he looks incredibly sinister. So I gotta meet him halfway with a meh. They've gotta just be drawing random names out of a hat to decide what Pokemon get new forms anymore, aren't they? It messes with me so much that Sneasel is now fighting and poison. Practically the opposite of what he used to be, but still lives in the icy tundra? Hold up, isn't this just a shiny Samurott? I've gotta have the wrong image here. Hold on, let me see what I've... Wait, what? That's it? What the heck's the difference? Okay, I made jokes about Creatures Inc. baiting for creepy anime porn before, but literally stripping away Lilligant's dress, revealing long, slender legs is just going too far. Ghost Normal doesn't even make a little sense, but I don't care. I love it. One gloriously creepy, baneful fox. Still miffed about his ability not working, but at least he didn't get the Arcanine treatment. America Bird is now righteously flying the transgender flag on his face. All you bigots and homophobes can only dream of having an afro as funky fresh as his. How about Escarno? Not only is it just Goodra in a shell, they messed up the shiny colors! Come on! They made Avalugg a walking picnic table with a Dorito for a mouth, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that. Well, at least Owlman isn't ghost type anymore. Now he's into weed and taekwondo. So I'll be honest, I don't know what to call this. It's not a new Pokemon, it's not a Hisuian form, it's just a third Basculin. I didn't even know it was different until researching this video. I don't hate it, I don't like it, It just exists, even though nobody seems to even realize it. In the same vein of odd alternate forms, we got new legendary origin forms because Game Freaks had a boner for them for years. This one's for when Dialga skips leg day and gets an entire coffin lodged sideways in his esophagus. Luckily for me, I didn't care much for the Gen 4 legendaries to begin with, so when you turn Palkia into an armless My Little Pony Centaur hybrid freak, I'm not particularly offended. Right, we're going back to Sinnoh, so of course we're getting a bunch of unnecessary evolution. Is that Stantler? I love it! Because giant bug exoskeletons wouldn't work at this size, so we snapped back and made it solid stone, but he can somehow still move. And his brittle little arms don't snap like twigs when he swings those ridiculous organic battle axes. By the way, this is another Scyther evolution. Why does the big werebear Ursaring evolution not evolve with a moonstone? And why did he get demoted to dowsing machine duty? Local forgettable angry fish from Unova evolves into a majestic sea monster and gives horsey rides. Literally all you did was give it human anatomy for all the DeviantArt creeps, and also that rock climb ability which gets incredibly outclassed by Braviary's flight, but keeps happening accidentally every single time you touch a ledge. Hideous design, annoying in gameplay, poo-poo Pokemon. I was hesitant at first, but the fact that this Quillfish evolution is named Overquill is so hilariously fitting that I cannot help but love it. So the Tornado Genie trio are now supposedly about the seasons, so here's a fourth one to round them out. But for some reason, Tornadus is winter, even though he's weak to ice. Why isn't this new one just ice type for winter instead? It's also an extremely frustrating capture and hideous design in case you were wondering. Oh, they're so much less horrible than last time, it's great! That just sounds like Stockholm Syndrome if you ask me. I've heard so many people praising the story this time around, and after beating the game, I'm a bit confused. We're talking about this game, right? This one right here? Now, if people were delusional enough to call this disaster of a narrative anything but abysmal as always, then Stockholm Syndrome is certainly to blame. The setup at least has promise, however, the entire thing falls apart from there. From the very beginning, yeah, it's beyond stupid. That is most of the story, which sucks out loud! This isn't the Game Boy anymore! However, the plot itself is so monumentally brain-numbing that we've gotta cover it as well. So after Breath of the Wild's voice from the light intro thing happens, your character gets a directive from Arceus to seek out all Pokemon for the first time since the original. He also switches out your cell phone case and keeps texting you randomly throughout your adventure. Not that anybody seemed to think about how a cell phone would recharge, much less get reception from the non-existent outlets and cell towers of ancient times, but whatever. Old school players should be excited by the catch-em-all directive before they realize that it's just as irrelevant to beating the game as the original. Yeah, so you regain consciousness on a beach, rescued by a Pokemon professor who conveniently has a goal to document all wild Pokemon in Hisui. So he takes you to the one and only town in the game, Jubilife, to get you set up in a disgustingly long intro sequence in order to begin your research of capturing Pokemon in the wild. Where the plot had potential was in the idea that you were a modern-day Pokemon trainer suddenly sent back in time to a world still learning to live alongside Pokemon and not simply fear them. It falls apart, however, when the story goes absolutely nowhere with this idea. It doesn't help that your character never speaks and emotes about as well as a toaster. But the thing is, there's other characters heavily implied to also come from the future, and absolutely nothing comes from this either, as if making occasional references to other games alone is cause for excitement, much less an excuse for a plot. The most painfully awful it ever gets is with the reverse idea, ancestors of characters we know from other Pokemon games. As if their Pokemon team preference, clothing styles, and freaking hairstyles are genetic. Seriously, what kind of imbecile thought this was a good idea? And on that note, why are there so many Pokemon trainers when the beginning sequence clearly presents you as the enlightened messiah from the sky who has come to save the baboons of the past, and nobody else in the region is even remotely competent in capturing Pokemon yet, much less raising them, but there's still trainers everywhere? You can't have both! And the characters we do have, I just want to drown in a bucket of kangaroo semen. Huh? Why would you intentionally write a character whose entire personality is annoying or self-righteous show-off? Don't you want us to like your characters, or your game for that matter? Then stop putting so much crap in it that nobody cares about, much less even likes! Wow. Yeah. So the Pokemon God talks to you on your magical cell phone, and you occasionally throw bags of food at angry glowing Pokemon to calm them down. And after doing this for 5 times, absolutely nothing else matters until the very end of the game, which we might as well include a spoiler warning skip time for, considering that this game is still new. And as we mentioned, this story had potential, so there. Everyone else who just wants to hear me pissing Game Freak's Coke, well, I don't think one Coke can possibly contain my incoming deluge of urine! The ending of this game is so genuinely bad, I'm having trouble describing it. So eventually, you're exiled from Jubilife City because the inbred racist monkey who runs the joint thinks that because the sky just sneezed purple, it must have something to do with you. Even though literally nobody agrees with him, considering you've basically Animal Crossinged your way into taking the place from rags to riches in mere days. But whatever. This infuriating twist feels like it was planned from the start, but the writers completely forgot to add the believable motives or exposition to make it actually have any impact other than eye-rolling hatred toward the amateur writing and its characters. So you go to the top of Mount Coronet, capture a legendary duck Gundam or a mecha giraffe, and get let back into the place like nothing ever happened. There's not even any closure of having this old coot thrown out of Jubilife. Is this story seriously devoid of any and all antagonists or plot threads whatsoever? Yes. That was a rhetorical question. The answer was yes. The worst part is this is the event that gets you the end credits. This was their big story finale. Everything after this technically counts as a post-game story. Yeah, and it gets worse. So after dicking around for a while, you eventually battle yellow hair what's-his-face atop Mount Coronet, who is apparently a bad guy now. See how his hair and facial features changed and they're kind of evil looking? That's all it takes in Pokemon to pull a 180, considering how you actually have to have character to have a character shift. So you battle his and totally not Cynthia's team, and after immediately smashing his face in the dirt, who comes to save him but Giratina, which you are immediately thrown into battle with and must defeat in order to truly win this battle. This is the supposedly hard fight people keep going on about, but if my random weird ear can completely own both phases of Giratina by himself without even trying, then there's something wrong with how busted this game's balancing is. Was this the hard thing? That was the hard thing? Yes, get bigger! Oh no, he just left. Guys, I'm not even fighting with like a fully powered team. These are just like random shinies that I had. So Giratina just kind of picks up his ball and goes home, and the game is still somehow not over yet. Once you finally complete your Pokedex, you can go back to Mount Coronet for a 3rd time and challenge Arceus to a dodgeball food fight in space until he determines that your throwing arm is impressive enough that he will teleport himself into your pasture back home in town because he's bored with omnipotence. Except the game doesn't actually tell you any of that. But I didn't catch it. You really don't catch it? Wait. Your research level's perfect. You can't get it? Oh my god, you can't get it! What the heck? I literally double taked, like, what the heck? So, without even telling you, the game doesn't even give you end credits or anything. You don't even get to catch the Pokemon, but it just shows up in your box? Is this game busted? Is it even finished? And by the way, there's no end credits for doing any of this. You're just teleported right back to Mount Coronet, facing the other way like, hey, thanks for coming. Please exit through the gift shop on your right and don't let the heavenly gates hit you on the way out. You just wake up standing. But that's it? It just stops? God. It just stops. The game's, you didn't even give me end credits. You didn't even tell me like the end and nothing. No explanation of how we got here. No explanation of any of the characters being here whatsoever. You didn't even try the end. No, you don't even say the end. Just put me right back where I was and turn my sorry butt around and have me go back and just keep catching Pokemon. Oh wow, yeah, that sucked. Like that really sucked. Like more than usual Pokemon games sucked. Thanks for clarifying that last part, it was important. It sucked! I thought we were gonna love this game. And you know what else kinda sucks about it? Oh, come on! This tone-deaf soundtrack, man! There are a few cool tracks like the Noble Pokemon and battle themes. And then Here's the rest of the game. Well, you'll be exploring a coastal mountain range, and the silence is suddenly broken by some unfitting, hokey freestyle jazz. I just knew you were gonna bring that up. It honestly sounds like they tried to recreate the root themes from Diamond and Pearl and just sloppily pasted them into this game without any care or consideration to the mismatched tone or context to what this game is trying to do. And the rest of the tracks are just jerked from Breath of the Wild. But what about the sound design? Pikachu and Eevee finally make their retro sounds and stopped using their awful Pikachu thing they did. Oh yeah, you're right, that was pretty cool. See, it wasn't all that bad. The best thing this soundtrack does is go backwards. That sure says a lot. Ugh. Okay, I know all that sounds bad, but trust me, this is a great game and a massive improvement over the original series. In the grand scheme of things, this is a great Pokemon game. And a mediocre video game. Oh, come on now! Even the level mechanics got their own style of difficulty balancing to help keep every random fight between any Pokemon feeling fresh and exciting. A few low-level threats at once might be just as tense as a high-level alpha, and the differences between levels matter significantly less, making gameplay far more approachable and engaging. Though it constantly feels like there's nothing to do in the game, since the core design gameplay loop is broken. You simply catch Pokemon and research them, and that's all. There's virtually nothing else to do with them after the fact, and nothing driving you to do anything post-game for that matter, other than fill out an arbitrary checklist. I mean, you got some simple side quests, but yeah, it's Breath of the Wild but without all the shrines, or dungeons, or towns, or purpose. So sure, it's fun to catch and raise Pokemon, and that new system works really well and all, but there's no reason to do anything with it, and that's the fatal flaw with this game. So before we do this, remember that I did have a great time with this game, and it's a huge improvement for Pokemon, but we're still gonna rate it fairly. As a video game. Come on, look at the length of this review. Just rip the Band-Aid off already. I'm sorry! The positive gamer in me appraises the fresh Pokemon Legends Arceus with a 7 out of 10. Yes, it's still made by Game Freak, fresh from their recent decade-long bout of diarrhea, but it's still a fun enough time to just explore what we do have here, enjoy the creative new mechanics, and not pay the story any mind. The critical gamer in me thought long and hard about how to fairly stack up the many virtues and outright failures in Pokemon Legends Arceus, landing on a 5 out of 10. Though it might seem like tough love, that's still substantially better than most modern Pokemon games. But once again, it simply just can't stack up to its modern competition. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Pokemon Legends Arceus in the comments below. But if you think this game deserves a perfect score for basically not being Sword and Shield, then you're just playing with yourself. Man, I should probably get a haircut. This is getting kind of long. What do you guys think? Also, hold on. I found it really weird. You guys actually voted for me to review this game before this one. Like, you, really? Really? And especially after that, just imagine how merciless this video is gonna be, but that's for later. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate your own episode. And thank you to all of our Patreon members, Atomic Thomas, Cameron, Arrow, Rowan, Erica, Minya, Sid, and Crystal. Booyah!